Could you imagine this? A life far away from the modern world we know. Away from consumerism and materialism. Almost no electricity and no running water. A life in harmony with nature. We'll take you along on a journey into the simple life on a real off-grid farm. Deep in the untouched wilderness of British Columbia lives Michelle in complete freedom, surviving with only the bare essentials. This is the heart of his homestead. Scattered across the property are small wooden cabins, each with its own purpose. The main house is used mostly for cooking, and a nearby stream provides all the water he needs. Further on, Michelle has a carpentry workshop and a few freezers. That's the only thing that's connected to the power grid. Over the next few weeks, Leon will be helping out here on the farm, and this will be his new home, a small cabin by a wonderful lake. Besides a few boards for his stuff, there is just a small wood stove in the cabin, that's it. Not much, but just enough. A new day begins with the chirping birds. A beaver glides across the lake. It's hard to believe how close you can be to wildlife here. But for now, it's time to get to work. Life on the farm comes with many tasks, some daily and some seasonal. At the top of the list is chopping wood. It's needed all year round for cooking and of course for heating. Michelle has already stacked enough wood for several years, always dry, always ready. Usually he uses birch for cooking because it burns hot and clean. On the other hand, cedar makes excellent kindling, and birch bark is better than any fire starter. You might wonder how the water supply here works out. It's actually quite simple. As I already mentioned, there's no running water here on the farm, so whenever water is needed, it's taken out of the creek nearby. For drinking, for dishes and so on. And some bucket filled with water are always in the main cabin. In our opinion, maybe a simple filter wouldn't hurt, especially for drinking the water, but Michelle avoids plastic wherever he can. From April onwards, when the days grow warmer, the birch trees come alive. As the ground starts to defrost, they draw water through their roots, rich in natural nutrients. By drilling a small hole inserting a tap, you can collect the birch water drop by drop.
It's dripping.
For sure it's dripping. If you put a video, you will see the noise. So
Does it harm the tree?
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, not that much.
Okay.
They made a scar, like if I cut your finger.
Yeah.
So they have a scar. The birch is worse. The maple is not too bad.
Okay, so do you change the trees every year?
Yeah, I don't tap them every year in the same place.
Okay.
So those one they will never tap here.
The taste is incredibly delicious, slightly sweet and nutty. Hard to describe, but a refreshing change from creek water. Michelle often boils down the water into a dark sweet syrup, the birch syrup, but this year there was no time, so they just drank it. Cooking here is very simple. Michelle values unprocessed homegrown food above all else. Almost every meal comes straight from the land. Potatoes, grains, preserved fruits and vegetables, onions, garlic, and sometimes moose or bear meat. He only buys things like olive oil, salt, and soap in the store. Dishes are washed by hand in cold creek water. A new routine that quickly comes normal. And when soap is needed, it's organic, of course. Even Michelle can't live entirely without electricity. A few solar panels provide enough power year-round, even in winter. That's enough for Wi-Fi, charging batteries, or running small tools like a grain mill or blender. As you can imagine, there are no hot showers here. Why would you need one when you have a crystal clear stream right outside your door? The daily ritual is a cold plunge followed by a hot sauna. After an hour of heating, the sauna reaches 100 degrees, making the icy water surprisingly pleasant afterwards. Today's big task is planting potatoes. In mid-April, they go into the ground. Potatoes from the previous harvest are taken out of the root cellar, placed in the ground about 10 cm deep. Since potatoes are one of the main food sources here, a lot of them have to be planted. Tasks such as preparing permaculture or weeding the greenhouse are also part of everyday life on the farm. There's always something to do. But rest is just as important. Leon spent his days off exploring the vast wilderness beyond Michel's land. He went fishing or took the quad out on the trails. He had always his camera by his side, hoping to catch some wildlife. He managed to record some moose with the trail cam, but some animals disappear long before you spot them. Every day, flocks of sand cranes flew past on their way north. Once they even landed on a nearby meadow to spend the night. During Leon's day, he could watch numerous animals, such as these cute hummingbirds. This coyote was often hanging out around the property, mostly trying to hunt mice. And one evening, a blackberry emerged from the woods to graze. Michel isn't just self-sufficient, he's also a carpenter. He loves building log cabins. Since we can imagine living a similar life in the near future, this is a skill that Leon definitely wants to learn.
With them, and then you have the carriage. We have to.
Together they began building a small log cabin. The wood for it was already stored in Michel's workshop, but it has been there for several years and was not longer as straight as when it came fresh from the sawmill. After a quick lesson, they started sawing. Once the wood for the short side of the cabin has been sawn, they moved on to the workshop. There the beams were planed to the right size, and then 2 grooves were cut into them with a groove cutter.
Okay, what you want to do is to plane this. Like if this is okay here, it's better to have this on the plane side. 1/8 was a 32, even 360.
Yeah.
That's for this is the small sawhorse because this is long. And you come back with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can
Okay,
do.
but you have to tie this. I'm just starting to show you.
Now it was time for the roof shingles. Leon split them from cedar wood, which hardly rots. Michel gathered leftover logs from the forest. For the shingles, they needed to be split into thin slices.
much work on it. Just take the bump, this one, you just have to stay like this. Yeah, then after maybe, I don't know, till there.
Not so much like this. That's
Unfortunately, constructions took much longer than expected. With Leon's time in Canada coming to an end, he had to make a choice. Work for a few more weeks and leave Michel behind with a half-finished cabin, or explore the endless wilderness of northern British Columbia. In the end, they carefully stacked the beams and covered them for later. Michel will surely find another helper soon to finish the cabin. Seeing how happy Michel is, living simply, freely and self-sufficiently really made us think. Alive, far away from the noise of modern society, growing your own food, building your home, it's becoming more and more appealing. Thank you, Michel, for showing what true freedom looks like. And thank you for letting us share a piece of your world.